Hey guys, Shadow Reviewer here. This is the second half of the 2024 movies ranking. So, without any extra intro, let's get into it. Number 12, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Now, for those who don't know, I went to see what I consider the most poorly constructed cash grab horror film that I ever watched. And it was garbage. Pretty freaking garbage. When I heard that it was announced for a sequel, I was less than enthusiastic. So, cut to 14 months later, not only did I like the sequel, I think it is actually better than the original. Okay, so what they fixed from the first movie, it's expanded a lot here. Okay, but before I get into the good stuff, let's get the bad things I didn't like. There's too much exposition. Now, I know a movie has to get across its plot point somehow, but when you have to tie it to one specific character and all they do is just throw constant exposition, they feel more like a character than a plot device. Now, Simon Cowell is a fine enough actor. I mean, I know him from Doctor Who of all places, but he feels pretty shoehorned in. He feels pretty shoehorned in. And some of the characters who should be in more of the movie is either not given enough screen time or bumped off. Now, oh, what else is there? Some of the CG doesn't hold up. Now, it is better than the first one, without a doubt, but there are some that don't work. And that's pretty much all I've got for the bad. Now onto the good stuff. The prosthetics for the Hungry Wood Gang looks phenomenal. It looks phenomenal. I mean, it's pretty much they took what was poorly crapped on from the first movie and expanded on it with more budget, and they look pretty good. The setting of Ashdown is kind of interesting. Some of the side characters are pretty complex. I mean, some of them are actually one characters I want to see more. I mean, Alec Newman and Nicola Wright as Mr. and Mrs. Robin were pretty good parents to Christopher. More on him in a bit. And I do like Thea Evans as Bunny. Kind of a cute little brother-sister relationship she has with Christopher. And I instantly buy their brother and sister. I also like Tallulah Evans as Lexi, a pretty competent final girl who's pretty close friends with Christopher. Makes me wonder if she was originally supposed to be the girlfriend in the first movie. Oh, and speaking of the first movie, it's a movie. Yeah, they pretty much retconned the first movie. They pretty much give the first movie, well, into a movie. Now, I didn't catch it the first time, but there's like, in the anime intro, there's like a newspaper clipping that Chris Robin reads that says, my experience has been made into a movie. I didn't catch that the first time. So when I saw a scene of the first movie playing in the background, I was like, what? Throughout the whole entirety of 20 seconds, what? And everyone else just started laughing. It was so funny. I'm like, what? And they added some good references that kind of cracked me up. The Morbius joke was pretty funny. Now, the acting from the Hungry Wood Gang was pretty stellar. Ryan Oliver, sorry if I mispronounced that, as Pooh was fine. Eddie McKenzie as Piglet, well, fine enough. Passable. But he should have been in the movie more. Marcus Messy as Al was pretty cool and intimidating. But the best character, I think, is Louis Satir as Tigger. How he got enough screen time is beyond me. This is honestly the best character in the film. The way he just looks, sounds, and acts out is just so darn funny. He's obviously Freddy Krueger in that aspect. Hell, the gang is kind of like that. Pooh is Michael Myers, Al is obviously Pinhead, Piglet is Leatherface, and of course you got Tigger as Freddy. But I also kind of like that. It's, Tigger just goes around, bouncy. Honestly, there's even a funny reference, like, when he stalks a pair of cops and one of them says, "We gotta bounce." Tigger comes behind him, "That's my line." And I'm like, wow, that's great. Oh, and Pooh says his catchphrase, which was completely missed from the original. I'm like, he couldn't even get one cool line. But he actually does say his catchphrase here. And now the best part of the movie, Scott Chambers as Christopher Robin. What can I honestly say? He's the best actor in the movie. Now, credit to Nikolai Leone from the first one, he was fine. Scott Chambers was perfect. He looked the part, he sounded the part, and he portrayed the part. He was amazing. The way he conveys the acting from happy to angry to devastated is top freaking notch. How he didn't play Christopher Robin in the first movie is a big shocker. But I am glad he's reprising the role for part 3, I think, and the extended universe this series is gonna give us. So yeah, I put it in the B tier. There has some problems in there, like, once again, the CGI doesn't hold up, and Simon Cowell is just more of a plot device than a character, but the rest of it is top notch. Is it as good as the original? Hell yes. Is it a good movie? It's good enough. But if the third movie hyped it up even more as an awesome flick, and the rest of the cinematic universe, we might have a good cinematic universe on our hands. Who knows? Number 11, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Yes, barely missing from the top 10. I'm gonna say it to you straight, and I know I should have done it myself, so apologies in advance. I haven't seen the other movies. I haven't seen the other movies before seeing this one. This was a last minute thing. I wanted to take my mother out for her birthday to go see this movie, and it made her so happy, I thought, yeah, why not? I may not get into the plot that much, but I might have passable good time. And I think this movie is another great installment to the franchise. Okay, I did a little bit of research. I think the setting set in the future was pretty clever. The CGI effects on the apes look phenomenal. The world building looks pretty impressive, and the acting is surprisingly good. I like Owen Teague as Noah. He was kind of an interesting character. Kevin Durant as the villain Proximus. More on Kevin Durant later. I just figured this out during post editing that he's in another movie that I saw last year. I'll be talking about more of him in a bit. But I do like Freya Allen as Maeve / Nova. She was a competent enough human character. She was kind of a badass in sort of ways, and I like her connection with the apes. It was kind of interesting. She was the only human that could speak the language. Honestly, my favorite character who shouldn't gotten more screen time is Peter Macon as Raka. He's funny, kind of interesting, and he had a different mindset when it comes to apes and humans living together in society. Honestly, there's not a lot to say. I mean, it's been a while back since I've seen this movie, and again, I should have seen the other movies first. I humbly apologize, but I liked it nonetheless. The story and ideas were interesting, and I thoroughly like the app. I thoroughly like the world building. It's really cool. Number 10, Spellbound. Yeah, I've been hearing some mixed stuff about this movie. I liked it. Okay, so, I do like this concept of, a princess trying to help her parents not only get back together, but try and, turn them back into humans from their monster forms, because they've been turned into monsters. I meant physically, not metaphorically. I like this concept. It's pretty unique. The animation looks good, and the voice acting is not that bad. Now, keep this in mind. Rachel Zegler is fine. She's fine. I know she's been cast as Snow White, controversy, but I'm not talking about that here. I'm talking about her as an actor alone, not what she's been cast in. So, I find her passable. Just passable. She was fine enough as the protagonist in Spellbound. She gives the character something unique. I like the character's arc, and she was good. Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem as the parents. They're also pretty interesting. But what really hooked me up in this movie is not just the concept and the animation, but the ending. Okay, so, major spoilers if you didn't, go in seriously. What are you watching this video for if you're not here for it? The parents don't get back together. I like this change. They always do the cliche, oh, parents that pretty much hate each other end up loving each other and staying together at the end. No, they don't do any of that here. I thoroughly like that change. It's something different, something original, and they part on good terms. They're there for their daughter, and they don't hate each other. They don't force to love each other either. Honestly, I really like it. The ending is what got me hooked. And, the songs, even though I don't remember much, there is one that I thoroughly liked. I don't know the name of it, but the song where, Elaine is seeing when she realizes her parents don't want to turn back to normal and get back together. You can easily feel the pain as she sings this song while consumed by darkness. That's really cool. But that's pretty much it, what I've got here. So yeah, I put it in the B tier. Not as like A tier material. I mean, it's just a kid's flick. I mean, what else are you gonna get this? It's not exactly groundbreaking or anything, but I think it's a good enough kid's flick. And, controversially, I think it's better than Wish. Do not at me in those comments. Number 9, VHS Beyond. Unlike the Planet of the Apes franchise, I did watch all the VHS movies. Why? Well, him. If you know who that is, I think you'll figure it out. I like the VHS movies. I'll do a quick ranking system. 94, 99, 85, the original, part 2, and viral. Yeah. Where does Beyond go in that category? Number 2. Just between 99 and 94. I prefer 94 as a better installment. But VHS Beyond is surprisingly bonkers and really deep. I love this idea of, whereas, the other ones, like, the first 3 are pretty much just typical found footage movies. 94 and 99 are set in the 90s. 85 is set in the 80s with a stronger vibe. Beyond is pretty much all sci-fi. And I love this idea. Okay, so what do I think about what do I think about the roundabout? Abduction is fine. Not too groundbreaking. Dream Girl. I like I like the concept. I found it unnerving. And Namahata Sheath at Terra. Sorry if I mispronounced that for those internationalists out there. Um I like the way she's portrayed. I like the concept, and it has a really boltastic ending. What about Stork? I think it was good. The design on the brooders was something unique. What about Stowaway? I find it fine. It's good enough. Not much to say. But there are two that stand out. One, Live and Let Die. This is disturbing. I mean, I'm terrified of heights. And from where there's a shot when they're all skydiving from one of their perspectives feels utterly freaky. I mean, falling what feels like I don't know, 100,000 feet, 1,000,000 feet up in the air feels utterly. Oh, and with aliens attacking you while you're parachuting is also terrifying. Honestly, this one's on a scale of freaky as hell. And the other one, fur babies. I think this is disturbing. The whole concept of a pet store employee kidnapping people and experimenting and fusing them with other animals, it's just a freaky idea. Libby Letlow is Becky. She's a pretty good antagonist. I mean, she makes you feel unnervous, and when her true colors are revealed, she's damn terrifying. Honestly, my favorite segments are Live and Let Die and Fur Babies. Honestly, these two are ranks VHS Beyond this high on the list. So yeah, I say it's a pretty good second best installment of the franchise. So I would put it in the B tier. Now, I originally wanted to put it in the A tier because how amazing it is, but the other segments kind of are fine enough and passable. So I would say good. It's a really good installment. The second best of the series, I might add. And seeing how we're getting another one this year, seeing how we're getting another one in 2025, I'm really, really excited. Hopefully, VHS 8 takes it a step further. Number 8, MaXXXine. Now, I'm gonna get the one bad thing I didn't like out of the way. The villain. Now, I will give Simon Pratt some credit. He does portray exactly how a crazy ass priest would act. I think he's good in the acting department. The character was pretty obvious. I mean, given he was a major character built up in X, and at the start of this movie, it's fine enough. It's not bad. It's just pretty predictable. Now, what do I think of X and Pearl? I think they're both masterpieces, and MaXXXine being the weakest of the trilogy, but not all bad. Okay, I love the 80s setting of this movie. It's you could definitely feel the 80s nostalgia. Songs like St. Elmo's Fire and the song during the end credits feels it transports me back to the 80s very, very well. Some of the performances are pretty decent. I mean, Michelle Montague and Bobby Cannavale, sorry if I mispronounced that. I can't find enough in the acting to play as the cops looking over the night stalker investigation. It's fine enough. It's good. They're pretty good. Kevin Bacon is pretty entertaining as Detective John Lambert. I mean, from the way he moves, he acts and talks, even the way he goes out, it's just so damn funny. I don't know what Kevin Bacon has been doing, but please keep at it with these crazy roles you've been given. And what I can honestly say about Mia Goth as MaXXXine, as the titular MaXXXine, she's amazing. Mia Goth is just such a good actress. And seeing how she's well known for horror films like Suspiria and Infinity Pool, I like this trilogy with Mia Goth in the center. Whether she's playing as MaXXXine or Pearl, Mia Goth is always going to be on top. Honestly, MaXXXine as a whole is fine enough. I think it's a pretty good flick. So I would also put it in the B tier. I was kind of hesitant about VHS Beyond and MaXXXine, but MaXXXine just goes over Beyond just a little bit because it focuses on one story narrative where Beyond kind of focuses on multiple segments. But MaXXXine, nonetheless, is a great flick. Maybe the weakest of the trilogy, but it's great enough. Mia Goth and Kevin Bacon really give outstanding performances. And that's good enough for me. Number 7, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. I better not say it again for a third time. Now, when I heard there was a sequel to the classic Beetlejuice... Oh, damn, I said it the third time. No, he's not going to appear good. I was hesitant. I mean, it's the same director, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. But not only did he succeed on making Lightning Strike twice, this one is even more bonkers than the first one. Okay, before I get into the great stuff, I will give one negative. The subplots. There's like too many subplots in the flick that gets me hooked. There's the Beetlejuice stuff with his ex-wife. There's the Lydia being haunted by Beetlejuice. Lydia's relationship with her daughter Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega. Astrid hooking up with a boy. Astrid trying to contact her father. The cop, played by Willem Dafoe's subplot. The wedding stuff with Lydia and her boyfriend Rory, played by Justin Theroux. Yeah, there's like a dozen multiple subplots that pretty much just either don't have a satisfying conclusion or just drop out entirely. Oh, and there's also the stuff with Delia's husband. Yeah. Now, what can I honestly say? I think the acting in this is phenomenal. -1. Justin Theroux is fine, but his character wasn't anything. General Ortega, who I've been absolutely loving ever since X, Wednesday, and the Scream films, General Ortega is pretty good as Astrid. She conveys the emotion of trying to reconnect, of trying to get over the passing of her father and trying to connect with her crazy-ass mother and grandmother. But she conveys it pretty good enough. Winona Ryder is well done again as Lydia. I mean, it's like she never left. Catherine O'Hara is honestly funnier here than she was in the original. Honestly, she makes Delia such a funny character. Even when she accidentally dies at the halfway through the movie, her reaction to that is so funny. It just cracks me up. Honestly, Catherine O'Hara, she's just a great actress. Again, Beetlejuice and the 2 Home Alone movies. But what really seals the deal is Michael Keaton as the titular character. It's like nothing has changed, and it feels like he never left the role. He was fantastic in the original, but outright cracks me up in the sequel. Yeah, he's obviously a lot older, but Michael Keaton, whether he's Batman or the Vulture, he can pretty much just be as charismatic as possible, and Beetlejuice is no exception to that rule. Honestly, the scenes with him and when he interacts with people is just so funny. When he talks with Lydia, even the song he plays for her, wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. That bit cracks me up every single time, and I just can't help but laugh. Oh yeah, and the sunset F bomb. The second time he tries to say the F word, it gets bleeped. I guess they're doing something from the original as a nice callback. Oh yeah, and Arthur Conti as Jeremy. He's fine, but the best written and acted moment is where Lydia and Astrid go down to the un- the underworld and meet up with Richard, played by Santiago Cabrera. Honestly, the scenes where they interact and talk about what's been happening is really well done. I thoroughly enjoyed the acting. It's surprisingly well written, and you feel bad when Richard has to go. It's sad. I'll give one last note. Charles Dietz isn't in this movie. And if you know the actor who played him in the original, I'm not going to delve it deep into here. Go look up Jeffrey Jones. But that's I feel comfortable saying. But the way Charles Dietz gets killed off in the sequel is also pretty damn funny. And I love the ending that Delia gets when she reunites with him. So overall, it's definitely A tier. An awesome step up to the sequel if the subplots could have given a better payoff or some that were deemed unnecessary could have been cut. Overall, Michael Keaton steals the show as always. Perfect. Just a great, awesome sequel. Number 6, Wicked. Now, I will get this out of the way. I didn't like the first act. It feels too mean-spirited, and they pretty much just harass Elphaba just because she looks different. But once the second act gets going, that's when it gets good. That's when it gets from good to great. Honestly, the chemistry between Cynthia Enzo and Ariana Grande is perfect. I never thought it could work, but it did. The musical numbers are also pretty good. But there is one that I love the most. Oh, how do I put this without giving away too much? I hope you're happy now and you're choosing this. I hope it brings you bliss, that you won't get it, that you won't live to regret it. I hope you're happy in the end. I hope you're happy, my friend. Sorry about that, but I just had to get it across. What's the best song in the movie? And honestly, it was beautifully cinematic when I saw it in the theater. I think its adaptation from the musical to the big screen is well done. I mean, I think the world building in the Land of Oz is spectacular. It looked good in the original Wizard of Oz, but here in Wicked, it looks phenomenal. And I love I love how it makes the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba herself, more of an anti-hero. I thoroughly like that aspect. She just wants to be accepted into the world, but society's become so toxic that she has to resort to magic to try and get her point across. I thoroughly love that idea. Now, yeah, the runtime for this movie is way too damn long. I mean, 2 hours and 40 minutes, really. But everything they adapted to the screen is phenomenal. Also, the acting from the supporting cast is great. Particularly Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. Honestly, what perfect other casting is there? I think it's great. honestly, what makes the movie is the two main leads. They look like they have a really strong friendship, and it's devastating when it breaks. Honestly, this movie is just a really well done, faithful musical adaptation. I put it in the A tier because it's a well done movie, and given we're getting the follow up to this, to Wicked Part 2. Yeah, they pretty much leave this movie on a cliffhanger, but I'm kind of excited where it's gonna go and how it's gonna end. Who knows? Now I'm hearing that Dorothy Gale is gonna be in the sequel. I wonder who's gonna play her. Number 5, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. How this bombed at the box office is really appalling. Okay, I just wanted to get out of the way because it boggles the mind. Here we go from the movies that are amazing to masterpieces. And Furiosa is the one that starts off that. Furiosa as a movie, it's just so amazing. Now, I did not watch Mad Max Fury Road because I had to watch this first. It's a prequel. I like the way it actually sets up everything. Now, the acting from this character Furiosa is portrayed beautifully by its two actors. Alia Brown, who I will be mentioning later on this list, and no, it's not from the Killer Spider movie, is pretty good as young Furiosa. She's cute, awesome, and a little bit of badass in her. But what really seals the deal is when Anya Taylor-Joy takes the stage for the rest of the film. She looks like a young Charlize Theron, and she fits the role into it like a glove. It's just perfect. I love the world building. The action is phenomenal. And even though sometimes it goes on a bit too long, I love the action has a really good conclusion. The acting from the villain, played by Chris Hemsworth as Dementus, is so freaking funny, and it's kind of surprising that for once he gets to play a role where he can speak in his native accent. He's always playing American roles, and it's great to hear him read these lines of dialogue with an Australian accent. Thank you. Honestly, Furiosa is just a great movie. Great sense of action, a fun villain, great performance, great double performance of Furiosa from Alia Brown and Anya Taylor-Joy is freaking great. Yes, I could have watched Mad Max Fury Road first, but Furiosa is a prequel, and for prequels, I have to watch the prequel first. And this one is no exception to the awesome. Whatever sets up for Fury Road, I hope it leads to a satisfying payoff. Number 4, Abigail. Just barely missing the top 3. Sometimes the exposition is a bit much, but there are only a few minor nitpicks. I honestly love the concept of this movie. A ballerina. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get one thing off my chest that really pissed me off. They spoiled way too much for the in the trailer for this movie. I mean, they pretty much spoiled the twist that Abigail is a vampire. Yeah, you couldn't leave that out, could you? You couldn't let this as a plot twist. They kidnap a little girl from a rich businessman. That could have been it, but no, you had to spoil that in the trailer. Thanks a lot. But it didn't stop the movie from being great, anyways. The performances from the entire cast is pretty good. Alicia Weir was great as the titular character. Melissa Barrera's Joey was pretty good. Dan Stevens was funny as Frank. Catherine Newton is an absolute ditz as Sammy. Kevin Durant, who I mentioned in entry number 11, was fun as Peter. I liked Angus Cloud as Dean. Rest in peace to Angus Cloud. And Will Collette as Rickles was fine enough. And Giancarlo Esperanto, who I humbly apologize, I forgot to mention who was in MaXXXine. He was fine in that movie, but he was great here. I thoroughly enjoy the interactions with each other. I mean, you meet a vampire, how do you react? Exactly the same way they do. The interactions they have are so damn funny. Honestly, the choreography Alicia Ware has to do when she plays as Abigail is really well done. The final battle is pretty interesting. Now that Frank has been bitten, he's now a vampire, and he's got a vampire ballerina and a human trying to defeat him. It's so damn fun. Honestly, I love that they do reference better vampire flicks and TV shows as references to the situation. At least it makes sense. I'm not a big fan of pop culture references that they don't tie into anything, but I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's a great vampire flick, and among the best, along with Lost Boys, From Dusk Till Dawn, and True Blood. Yes, I'm saying that is a vampire TV show that I watched the most. I think this was a fun time. I put it in the A tier. A little exposition-y in some points, and dumb character moments here and there, but this was a fun enough horror film for the ages. But there is one other horror film that I think is better. So here we are, folks, the top 3. These top 3 picks are among the best of the best, and they're all S-tier movies. And the medal and the bronze for the 3rd best movie of the year goes to number 3, The First Omen. Now I'm gonna say this off the bat. I'm mixed on the Omen franchise. The original is iconic, the second one is okay, the third one is bonkers, the fourth one is forgettable, and the remake is trash. Moving on. This movie is honestly among the best with the original. I do have one small nitpick, the timelines here. They say it takes place in 1972, when clearly it's obviously a direct, it's a direct story to the original. Kind of a mixed plot hole there. I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen this movie, but if I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. I thought that was a weird-ass little continuity error. But the rest of the movie is stellar. I mean, the imagery, down to the concepts, down to the ideas, and how this get past today's audiences is beyond me. The way they were able to get away with it is phenomenal. The cast is pretty good. Bill Nighy was great as the antagonist. Ralph Anderson actually fills Patrick Troughton's shoes from the original perfectly. It's supposed to be the same age, but I think Ralph Anderson was great in this role of Father Brennan. But the standout here is Neil Tiger Free as Sister Margaret. She pretty much is the new nun in town, has to learn the ropes, be the protective one, and the scene where she goes through one of the most disturbing scenes that I've ever watched in a horror film. I'm probably not gonna mention it that much. I don't feel comfortable. But where she has to go through in order to act it out is phenomenal. I think this has to be one of the most perfect acting performances of 2024 that I've seen from a horror film. This is beyond perfect. And I do like the twists and turns it got. At first, I thought it was going to be someone else who's going to be carrying the Antichrist. But when it turns back to somebody else, I'm like, that's thoroughly interesting. Keep going. Now, when I first watched it, I didn't like the ending. I mean, it's obvious she was going to die, but not only did she survive, she ended up escaping undetected. I was kind of split at that at first, but after watching it again and reading up about how it connects to the original, I found something even more interesting. Now, there's a scene in the original where they're digging up the gravesite and they see the carcass of a jackal there. What if that jackal thing was a cover-up? To try and find Margaret and where she's disappeared to. That is kind of interesting. It was a cover-up to try and find her and, get rid of her. That's actually kind of interesting. And I do like that she escapes. Margaret has been through hell. Honestly, she pretty much makes the movie phenomenal. And yeah, Immaculate pretty much had the exact same premise, but with a few differences. One gave birth to the Antichrist, one was just a science experiment. Yeah, that's pretty much the difference. But honestly, the First Omen is better is better out of the two of them. Most because it respects the original in so many ways while paying homage to it. It's something interesting and original, and it's got a stellar performance from its main lead. I give it stellar S tier. It is a perfect ass movie in so many ways. Honestly, if I were to watch this again along with the original, I would have the best freaking time. And yes, I was a little disturbed in the theater when I went to see this. It was that unnerving. And I consider it the best horror film of 2024, period. And the silver for the second best movie of the year goes to number 2, Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, I originally had this at number 1, but there was one other movie that topped it better. Okay, I'll get to that later. But honestly, Deadpool Wolverine, I'm not surprised honestly, I was not surprised how great this movie was. The action is fun and hilarious. Its concept, a little muddled in some places, was good enough to follow. I liked Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova. She was a pretty intimidating villain. She was freaky at times. I liked Matthew McFadden as Paradox. He was kind of a fun side antagonist and kind of a douche. But honestly, the standouts are its two main leads. And I don't even need to tell you their names to know who they are. Deadpool and Wolverine are such a great duo. And I love their love and respect to each of their characters. The way they interact with each other, would they get along, would they fight. It's just so damn fun. Even its cameos are a load of fun. Wesley Snipes' Blade, freaking great. Jennifer Garner as Elektra, that was fantastic. I don't know the actress who plays Laura, but she was good. Funniest portrayal of Gambit played by Channing Tatum was phenomenal. But honestly, the best scene in the action and the comedy just stands out so much. When it's meant to be kick-ass and amazing, it's great. When it has to be funny, it's just so hilarious. I like the subtle references to both the last two films and pretty much real life. It's just great. The cameos are beyond everywhere in this picture, and it's just fantastic. But honestly, the best scene in the movie is where Wolverine talks down to Deadpool after exposing him for the liar he is. Hugh Jackman has got to have some of his best acting of Wolverine I've seen. He was great in the first X-Men. The train scene from The Wolverine was phenomenal. His death scene in Logan was great, but the scene where he talks down with Deadpool in the car, Hugh Jackman knocks it out of the park in the acting department. I can't say the full dialogue since this video might get demonetized, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I replayed that scene multiple times, and it looks like Hugh Jackman had a phenomenal time redoing those takes, filming, saying that line of dialogue. Perfect, absolute perfect, chef's kiss. Oh, what can I say about the opening scene? It's been played to death. I absolutely love it, and it's just a funny way to open the movie. So, what I can honestly say that I thoroughly love this movie. S tier, without a doubt. The best action movie of the year. Actually, no, scratch that. The best superhero movie this year. I did consider this the best movie of the year, but there is one that tops it. And it's no surprise who it is. And the award for the best movie of the year goes to... While Deadpool and Wolverine said bye to the bad comic book movies we had in the past few years, let's just say that this movie lived and learned its lesson. Yeah, that was terrible. What are you gonna do about it? Honestly, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is just amazing! So amazing that I saw this twice. Possibly 3 times if I'm lucky. Honestly, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is not only the best video game film adaptation that I've ever watched. Where to honestly start? The story is fantastic. We're paying respects to the source material. The comedy is funny. Its action is great. They have live and learn in the movie. Oh my god. The fight scenes between Sonic and Shadow are phenomenal. And yes, I am going into spoilers here, so skip this entire entry if you have to. But this movie is just... oh my god. Whereas the human characters don't, get focused enough, it's obvious who they're setting their sights on. Honestly, the dynamic between Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles is great. Honestly, Ben Schwartz, Colleen O'Shannessy, and Idris Elba give phenomenal vocal performances as Team Sonic. Jim Carrey is also once again outstanding. And he's not just playing one character. He's playing 2. And they're just as funny as each other. Honestly, the fourth wall break of the meta joke just absolutely made me belly laugh in the theater. And it made me laugh again it made me laugh again a second time. Honestly, Jim Carrey playing as both Robotnik and his grandfather was such a smart idea. I mean, given they're related, it makes perfect sense. Honestly, the dancing they have when they're trying to break into the gun headquarters is so freaking funny! Oh my god! I love Robotnik's sacrifice at the end when he realizes that if I can't rule the world, I might as well save it. It's such a good line! Honestly, his chemistry with Lee Majub, sorry if I mispronounced that, as Agent Stone is phenomenal. But honestly, I've been saving the best for last. The guy that I've been standing around my channel around, the ultimate life form, Shadow, the absolute Shadow the freaking Hedgehog, voiced by an absolute angel of a man, Keanu Reeves. What can I honestly say? He is the best part of the movie. It's clear the guy was doing his research. I've been watching a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. Keanu Reeves looks like he was enjoying doing multiple takes of doing the Shadow voice. He doesn't even have to imitate it. He just has to be himself. It's just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Listening to it on the big screen absolutely made me cry. Speaking of making me cry, whole of Shadow's character arc brought to the big screen is perfect. Speaking of Alia Brown, she plays Maria in this movie, and she's perfect. Honestly, her connections with Shadow is so good. So freaking good. It feels like my big dream brought to the screen. And it's just perfect. It's just perfect. Shadow as a whole entire character is perfectly done. I love that actors are willing to actually try, and Keanu Reeves is no exception to that rule. He brings so much of Shadow from the games to live action. It's just ice. It's the cherry on top of a beautifully laid cake. Keanu Reeves, you've made some ups and downs in your life, but you bring out the best in not just your performances and acting, but as a person. You bring so much joy to people's lives, and bring Shadow, one of my favorite Sonic characters of all time, to the screen. You have made me a very, very happy person. Please keep going with what you're doing, and don't stop whatever you're doing. Please be the person that everyone wants you to be. You're just a great actor. And honestly, given that you were my number one choice for Shadow the Hedgehog, you made my dream come true. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, there's enough ranting about enough talking about John Wick. Which actually is what a lot of people compared Shadow to. It's just Keanu just doing his normal voice as Shadow. Like, there's no comparison. Hell, their backstories are pretty much the same. Anyway, honestly, what I gotta honestly say about this movie is perfect. And I consider it not just S-tier movie, not just the best movie of the year, but the best video game movie adaptation of all time. And I consider it the number one best movie of 2024. And considering we're getting another installment, I hope it's just as good as this one. Please make it. If this is how video game movies are going to go, then we have bright future ahead of us. Now, before I go, there's a few things I have to clear up. These are the movies that I didn't sadly go see this year. The Wild Robot. I'm sorry, I just didn't have enough time seeing this, but I've heard it's got fantastic reviews. Yeah, seeing how Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was the best video game movie of the year, this was the absolute worst video game movie of the year. Why I didn't go see it? Well, I never played the Borderlands games, so I don't know the lore that much. But Eli Roth? Really? Again, nothing against you, dude. Just pick a better movie to direct. Stay in the horror genre. Now, I originally wanted to put this on the list, but it came out the year before, so I sadly couldn't put it on the list. But yeah, I loved Late Night with the Devil. It's a great movie. I highly recommend it. And don't say it came out in theaters this year. I'm only going with what came out first, chronologically. So don't leave in the comments saying, oh, this actually came out this year. It didn't. So don't at me. I almost went to see this movie, and I'm glad I didn't. Oh my god. Oh my god, the backlash for this was off. Just, oh my god. And I'm glad Sydney Sweeney
did better the following month with Immaculate, because if this movie didn't go Korea, I don't know what will. Yeah, I didn't know this one could work. I mean, another Quiet Place movie, a prequel no less. I kind of regret not seeing this. Who knows, I'll probably give it a watch one day. Or maybe I'll probably watch it when the third one comes out. Is there any amiss? Agree or disagree? Let me know down in the comments below.
So that's the ranking of all the movies that I saw in 2024. There are a few other ones that I wanted to go see, like Wallace and Gromit, Adventures of Month-Fowl, but that never released in theaters, and that would have come out in 2025, even though it said 2024, so sad they couldn't put it on the list. So yeah, I hope you liked these two videos. Sorry I couldn't do the full thing. It would have taken a bit too long, and I feel like I have a big year ahead of me. Back on the H2O train with season 3, episode 8, Kidnapped. Until then, I'm the Shadow Reviewer, and I hope we all have a great year.